Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're watching Neek at Night. Tonight, I'm going to give you a review on Iyanla Fix My Life, the Kamiyah Mobley story where she was abducted at birth and raised by a woman who raised her as her mother but wasn't her mother. This was actually a requested video, and I decided to watch Iyanla Fix My Life. I don't normally watch Iyanla. When I do catch her episodes, it'll be like when I go to my mom's house, she's watching an episode, and I'll watch it with her. But normally when I watch Iyanla Fix My Life, I almost always feel like she doesn't fix their lives. So I'm not really a fan of the show, but I decided to watch this since someone asked me to cover it and get my thoughts on it. When I watched this episode, I did not imagine that it would invoke so many emotions within myself. I related to Kamiyah, and a lot of the things that happened in the episode, it kind of made me a little uneasy and upset. After watching it, I was even more upset by reading the comments, and I'm like, are you dumb? Like, a lot of the comments, I'm like, people really are dumb. And it's like, I guess if you do not know what it's like to go through something like that, it's hard to relate. I mean, you would think that people would have more empathy towards Kamiyah, but a lot of people, they surprised me in the things that they said. But before I'm going to go into the things that people said, I'm going to give you a backstory of pretty much what went on in the episode. The episode starts off by saying that Kamiyah was 8 hours old when she was abducted by a woman by the name of Gloria. Gloria took her from her birth mother and raised her as her own.
Tonight, the heartwarming images of a family reunited. 18 years after being kidnapped, a smiling daughter, her biological father full of gratitude. Charles Manigo says his then-girlfriend Gloria Williams told him she gave birth to their daughter while he was away. Manigo and Williams raised her from the time she was a newborn, sharing custody after they split up in 2003. DNA testing uncovering the truth. Alexis was in fact baby Kamiyah, snatched from a Florida hospital in 1998. Manigo and Alexis now dealing with the shocking news. Tonight, 51-year-old Williams is behind bars, facing charges for the kidnapping. Police say she posed as a nurse and snuck the newborn out of the hospital, starting a frantic search.
It wasn't until Kamiyah was, I want to say she said 16 and applied for her first job, where the woman who raised her broke down crying because Kamiyah needed a birth certificate. And obviously, the woman could not provide that for her. And at that moment, she told her that she wasn't her real mom. She named Kamiyah Alexis, and she raised her as Alexis. And Kamiyah Alexis, she confided in one of her friends and told one of her friends that she was abducted. It didn't say if the friend that she told was the one who told authorities or how the mom who raised her ended up in jail. But I'm just going to take a guess that maybe the friend told somebody. I don't know. Anyways, so the parts that kind of made me uneasy is there's different strokes for everybody. And I feel like when you want to heal and you want to get closure in a situation, you have to, number one, be ready, and you have to, number two, be matched with the right therapist. Every method isn't going to work with everybody, and I definitely did not agree with Iyanla's method at all.
I either have to trigger her up, make her mad at me, so that she'll speak what she's feeling, or I have to break her down, meaning put her in a situation where her heart breaks.
So Iyanla is basically trying to search for the girl's identity. Like, who are you? Are you Alexis? Are you Kamiyah? And the girl is clearly conflicted between the two.
My life now is a bit of a challenge. Gloria was my main support. Even though it was wrong, I had been with her for 19 years. It's just the comfort is kind of gone now.
She said that her birth mother was supposed to do the show with her, and her birth mother opted out of the show. So one of the reasons that kind of came up why the mother didn't want to be a part of the episode, which was kind of weird because she is the one who reached out to Iyanla. But I guess the reason why she didn't want to be a part of the episode is because Kamiyah still loves the woman who raised her. And a lot of people in the comments, they were like, how can she love this woman? This is all she knows. This woman, even though this woman took her from birth, which was absolutely wrong. I'm not saying anything. There was nothing right about her taking her. But when you have to put yourself in Kamiyah's shoes, this is the only person that she knows, she loves. This is the family that she knows. She was raised with this woman from birth. She loved this woman. This woman took good care of her. And from her perspective, she was an amazing woman. She was her support system. She was her everything. She is ripped from the environment that she knew and grew to love and be comforted in her entire life. This woman is, I'm sure, when she's hurt, when she's sad, this woman is the woman who she went to. So, and it said that she was found in 2017. We're barely in 2018, and we're at the beginning of 2018. So this is all new. I definitely related to Kamiyah in so many ways, and I have a lot of empathy towards her because although I wasn't kidnapped at birth, I had a similar situation where I grew up my whole entire life feeling like the man who was supposedly my biological father was my biological father. And it wasn't until I became an adult that I found out that he was not my father. So I related to her in so many ways. And it's like, I could not believe when I got to read in the comments, so many people were kind of like placing blame on Kamiyah for her actions, calling her, disrespectful. And although she did have a blow up, this is a hurt, confused, conflicted girl. And her birth mother was the one who reached out to Iyanla to do the show, and her mother opted out on being a part of the show. And for me personally, I felt that was kind of selfish on the mom's part, because although her feelings, I know that they have to be hurt and they are crushed. This woman ripped your child from you, and I know that, that has to be something hard to deal with. But she also has to understand that her daughter is another person. Her daughter, she has to accept who her daughter is. And trying to shut out the woman who raised her, it's kind of shutting out who Alexis is. That's who she is. That's what she knows. This is the family she knows. And to kind of expect her to just shut off 19 years of her life at 19 years old and just completely start over, I feel like that's selfish on the mom's part. I don't care what nobody says. Is it hard? Yes, I'm sure it's very hard. I'm sure, it's very difficult. But to expect her to just stop loving the woman who took care of her, I feel like that's kind of unrealistic and selfish. I feel like it's unrealistic and selfish. Was the lady who abducted her completely wrong for abducting her? She was absolutely out of her mind for doing that. But are we unrealistic in thinking that this girl is supposed to completely forget the woman who took care of her? I think that is absolutely crazy. That is crazy. It's just, imagine you, for instance, you have a mom, you grew up with your mom. Your mom is your support system, your best friend, your confidant, your comfort zone, your ride or die. Those are all the things that my mom is to me. So I can't, imagine waking up and someone saying the person who raised you, taught you how to walk, taught you how to talk, taught you everything that you know about life, taught you life lessons, brung you up. She's no longer she's no longer your mother. This other woman is. And then for somebody to expect you to completely forget your best friend, the person that you love, your confidant, your ride or die, I feel like that's kind of insane. I feel like that's kind of absolutely insane. And in this show on Iyanla Fix My Life, Iyanla was definitely trying to reach out and break through to the young girl. But with a breakthrough, you definitely have to choose the right method. I feel like Iyanla didn't fill her out enough, and she didn't give her enough time to open up to her before she tried to, make her purposely angry. And that is the form and the method that I just don't agree with it. I don't fuck with that at all. You have to give people time to open up with you. You film with this girl for one day and you expect her to just pour her whole life out to you and give you all her feelings, and I feel like that's unrealistic.
I'm gonna keep you in here tonight.
Tonight?
Mm-hmm.
By myself?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about this. I'm not comfortable.
I didn't say you had to be comfortable. And if you call your dad and your boyfriend, you're probably not gonna get them.
Why?
Because I told them don't answer the phone. Nobody put me
I'm not
on the
disrespectful. You
board.
put me in a position to be disrespectful. Because did I not tell you that I was not staying here? So you don't tell him not to pick up his phone for me.
I think that, people who are judging Kamiyah are just insane in saying that, I read a comment and it said, oh, she talks so highly of the woman who abducted her, but yet, and she says that she raised her in a good environment and she raised her up good, but look at her, oh my gosh, she obviously didn't raise her too good. She over there cussing out Iyanla and telling her, she's gonna hit her and punch her. This girl whole world has been ripped from right beneath her feet, and you expect her not to be angry? You expect her to be, cool and calm and collective about it? I feel like that's crazy. I feel like that is crazy. Like, did she blow up? Was she, angry? Did she kind of like step over the line and saying that she wanted to hit her? Yes, but do we understand why she feels that way? Should we understand why she feels that way? I think that it should be understood. This girl went 19 years. She just was found last year in 2017. It is now the beginning of 2018. She has not had enough time, enough healing, enough whatever she needs to process this. The mother that she grew to know as her mother is not her mother. This other woman who birthed her is her mother and does not accept her for who she is. The woman who birthed her wants her to completely shut out her identity, shut out her life, and start a new life with her and just forget the woman who raised her. Was the woman who raised her wrong? Yes, she was. But for somebody to think that she's supposed to just shut that woman out of her life, I think that that's absolutely insane, and I think that it's crazy. You guys have to put yourself in Kamiyah's shoes, and I feel like people are judging her instead of when they should be empathizing with her situation. This girl loves this woman. She has a vow of loyalty to her, just like you have a vow of loyalty to your mother. And if somebody comes in and they mouth my mom, the first thing that I'm going to do is correct them and probably pop off because you're not going to disrespect my mom. This girl, that's her mom in her mind. It's going to take years and years of therapy to get her to a point of acceptance and realizing and unraveling, how wrong the woman was, how she's not her mom, how, that takes time, and one day of filming is not enough time. That was 19 years of her life with this woman. She's still 19 years old. I think that, she had a good idea to bring in a girl who also was abducted at birth. And if you haven't seen the show, basically what Iyanla, she reached out to another woman who was abducted at birth, and she wanted to bring this woman in to meet with Kamiyah to kind of, show her that she isn't alone. She isn't the only one going through it. And she has somebody who feels what she feels and knows what she's been through. I feel like that was kind of good. But before she can get to meet with this woman and relate to a woman and have an ally in somebody and, have somebody that can relate to her story because she's been through what she's been through, Iyanla decided to make her angry before that. I feel like having somebody who was a lot younger, a lot more relatable, I feel like that was a better approach to, let her share her story. She was actually abducted. Although Iyanla was raised to not know that her mother was dead, this woman was actually ripped from her environment the same way that Kamiyah was, and I feel like she would have been able to relate to her and she would have been able to invoke a lot more feelings and emotion, and I think that she would have been able to connect with her and get her to open up a little bit more. It's just so hard for me because I just don't understand how people can't empathize with her. And although her mother needs empathy too, I empathize with her mother, but I also feel like her mom was a little bit selfish in her decision. This girl, and she didn't say that she felt abandoned and she felt like her mother wasn't doing all that she could to find her. I can only imagine and I can only assume that's what she felt. If you are abducted from your mother and the woman is able to take you from your mother, I can only imagine that she probably feels like her mom did not protect her. She probably feels like her mother, the person who was supposed to protect her, did not protect her. And she probably has a little bit of resentment towards her mother for allowing this to happen. And even though her mom, I'm sure, would never, ever purposely allow something like this to happen, you kind of have to think as this girl is possibly in the emotions that she's possibly feeling. Okay, and on top of the issues that she's having with her mom, there's so many different layers of issues that this girl has. She has a mother who raised her to be her mother and she wasn't her mother. She also has a father who raised her that she thought was her father that wasn't her father. Then she has her real mother who she does not have a connection with because her mom wants her to shut her out of her life. I wanted to get more insight on the moms, how her mom is. I just went off a feeling, but looking at her father, I actually was able to see firsthand insight. Number one, her father didn't seem that bright. He didn't help her face her issues so that she can actually get healed. He kind of just was like, well, making excuses for her. On top of that, her mother was 16 years old. Her father in the show made a comment and he said, I didn't find out till after she gave birth that she was 16. Well, it turns out, I believe that the father was, I think, like 24 years old when he started messing with her. And I think the mother was like 14 years old. So that's like an issue within itself. Like there's a little bit of, my dad was kind of like a pedophile. He's kind of slow. This girl got a lot of issues that she has to deal with. And for people to judge her in the way that they're judging her, like I seen a comment, somebody was like, oh, she need her ass beat. Oh, how dare her? She don't got the right to, she shouldn't be talking to no elders that way. She don't got, this girl, whole world has changed. She is taken from an environment of a woman who gave her a loving household to now she's with people who like, damn, my dad kind of was a pedophile, maybe, possibly, you know what I'm saying? Like my mom was 14, he was 24. Then she got to deal with the fact that she don't really connect with her mom. This girl got a lot of issues. She's going to have to go through a lot of therapy. And for people judging her, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. That's my thoughts on it. And just like I said in the beginning of the video, when I watch Iyanla fix my life, I don't ever see her ever fixing anybody's lives. And especially in this case, I think that she does not she said that the parents don't have the capacity to help her, and I believe it. I watched one parent firsthand, and I don't think that he has the capacity to help her. But I also don't think that Iyanla is equipped to help her either, because her method, I just did not agree with her method. Also, aside from that, the reason why I related to this story and I started to get into it in this video, I started to talk about it and I started to share my story and tell how I found out that the father that I thought was my father wasn't my father, and I went into depth on my story, and I realized that putting it in this video it was two separate videos. So I'm going to have part 2, and I'm going to describe my situation, and I'm going to take, what I said and put it in another video and go into detail on my situation of how I thought that a person was my father and he wasn't my father. So if you want to see that, definitely stay tuned for part 2. But for now, I want to know what you think about this situation, what you think about this video. Let's talk about it in the comments. If you watch the episode, do you think that she's just some bratty little kid and she was out of line for talking to adults that way? Or do you agree with me? And I'm not asking you to agree. I want you to give your real thoughts on the matter. Do you agree with my way of thinking that, was she wrong for blowing up at Iyanla? Yes. But do we understand why she blew up? I think it should be understood why she blew up with Iyanla. All right, guys, that's all for this video. Stay tuned for more celebrity news and gossip. But in order to do that, you know what you got to do. Hit that like and subscribe button right now. Don't wait. Do it right now. Also, hit that notification bell so you're notified when I post these videos, and you're notified when I post part 2 of my deeper insight on my life and how I relate to her in bigger and more detail. All right, guys, peace.